Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Indiana Esports Network. I'm Samanami, joined by the gracious Soy Sauce. How you doing, Soy Sauce?
I'm doing fantastic. I cannot wait. IEN is back here with another set of SSBU action this week, and it's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, most definitely. But before we get on into it, first, we do want to introduce the teams here. So, from what I have on my list here, we have Pike High School versus Plainfield High School. And starting off for the Pike roster, here we have Kirsty, Mitchard, Blank, Asuki 2, and their coach, Carrie Bish.
Yeah, and it's a solid group. You can see their record 9-2 so far this season, looking to carry that momentum through here. Favorites in this matchup as their opponent, Plainfield, is wow. Plainfield is coming in at a record of 5-6.
Yes, and for the side of Plainfield, we have H. Crawford, Inferior Boiling. I was just told it too, and I butchered it. I'm doing just as bad. Polion, that's what it was. Polion, Dragonfly, and DLK, and their coach John Newbold.
And it's a solid squad, a solid roster here, and they are going to try and see if they can steal one from Pike this week, and we'll see what their matchups look like. Again, these schools kind of fully into the flow of things as it's week 12 of our regular season, so they've had plenty of practice. Maybe they had a little bit of a sort of hiatus during the winter break, but still, these players are, into the action, ready to go, well practiced, and we get to see what they bring to the table this week.
Indeed, we will. So, just before we get it all started to go, we're going to give a quick shout out here to Zotac for Zotac Gaming, as thanks for supporting Scholastic Esports in Indiana. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media. Make sure to join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or Zotac USA when you post. That is ZOTAC. Thanks so much, Zotac, and let's get on with these games.
It's going to be an exciting week, an exciting matchup here. Again, Pike versus Plainfield, and I'm curious to see kind of where the character selection goes, because the game has sort of been out long enough, right, that everyone has their main character, but maybe for specific instances they want that pocket character for a specific matchup, and that's why I think in this crew battle format, getting the opening lead is so important, because then that allows you to play that counterpick war if you so choose.
Yeah, most definitely. And looking at the selections here already between Bill and Louie, I'm actually very surprised to see the Little Mac versus Kirby here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough opening draw, you would think, especially because Little Mac just hits like a truck, and on a light character like Kirby, things can be very difficult very quickly. But on the other hand, Kirby, lots of multi-hits, lots of combo ability. If they can get this Little Mac off stage, that's where the big advantage is.
Most definitely here. It's pretty much the unmovable rock versus the Everlight Feather here. And really keeping an eye on that edge guard there. You did get the copy ability from Kirby on the Little Mac. Oh, this could be it!
Got the forward tilt instead, knocks him off stage. Neutrally will help Louie get back for the moment. Rolls behind, KO punch still online here, and you can tell that Phil is searching for it, looking for one opportunity. Tries to go for up tilt, and he'll just pull the trigger on it, and down goes stock number one.
Gotta love that uppercut there. It's a nice sucker punch from below, but Phil might be in for it here. Oh, most certainly.
I mean, another stock down, great edge guard there, finding all the multi-hits of that down air, and just like that, things are tied back up. I like the pacing of this game, right? Both players kind of playing to their strengths, but right now it is a lot of catches by Phil to tie things back up. As, oh, that's a low dip, and he won't be able to snap back to the ledge there.
Nope. I mean, the biggest thing that you're seeing here, we kind of mentioned before, Little Mac really not going to have a lot of control once they're off the stage. So they're actually doing a phenomenal job keeping space and working their feet to make sure they constantly have control. They do misstep that there, just unfortunately not able to make the grab.
Yeah, just didn't quite catch it there, and unfortunately falls short of the ledge. But you gotta feel like on this last stock, you're working on a little bit of borrowed time, but this is a big combo.
Ooh.
That catches a jump as well. This could be the stock right here.
No!
The trade on the down air is everything. Louis Locke will take the opening series and gain the edge here in game one.
Yeah, there's just one thing I wish I could see from Little Mac, because, you know, Little Mac's a very tactical character, just game-wise, compared to Kirby, who's a lot more happy-go-lucky. I would have loved to see Little Mac have an ability where he could just grab Kirby and throw him down into the abyss, kind of like in Incineroar.
Yeah, didn't quite get to see that interaction, but I think towards the end there, I guess the key there on a character like Little Mac, who is very double-edged sword, because you get all this power, but a lackluster recovery, those jumps have to be preserved at really all costs. And in that situation, right, we saw them try and actually previous in that matchup, we saw the side B missed the ledge, right? Just didn't quite get the height right, fell underneath that platform. So they wanted to try and ensure that they would be above center stage there. But Kirby, with all their jumps, their speed, they're able to catch that recovery in that instance, make sure they don't get back to stage. And then the follow through, just so clean, so well executed, well done there to take the lead here.
Oh, most definitely. And I mean, it wasn't the cleanest of clean fights, right? That was actually quite a scrap fest we had there between the two players, where it did go down to one stock in the end. So for the side of Pike here, I don't think they're doing too bad for themselves. I think they actually have a good opportunity to go even here and take a quick stock against Kirby, but that really depends on who we're going to see come in. Oh!
We get the Ditto here to try and even things out. They've got a Kirby player of their own, so let's see how this pans out. The advantage here of being up in that first game, that first series, right, is to have not just the stock advantage, but also your percent gets reset back to 0 here. So they're just saying, hey, one stock apiece here. Everything that Louis gets is extra credit, but we think our Kirby player can win against yours with just one stock apiece. If they can try and tie things up that way. They go back to Final Destination too, so you get to see really the intricacies of how this duo plays out, the different styles of play between the two players.
Yeah, most definitely. Another thing to note here, because these are light characters, and not just light, small characters, we actually see a lot more center stage play than most engagements when it comes to Smash, just due to the character's hitbox size. So there's going to take a lot more effort to not just build up the damage percentage, but to also get them close enough to the edge to make it count.
And there you kind of saw it, right? They were both scrapping around the shield there. Both are prone to crouching by, shrinking that hitbox. And there I like the mix-up of jumping and then kind of stalling the hitbox, using the down B, because that move takes a second to shapeshift Kirby into the object before they can fall, and that threw off the timing of that sort of trade of hit shield, roll away, hit shield, roll away. So well done there to mix things up. Throws him into the stage there with the back air, but it's not going to be enough quite yet. He'll snap back to the ledge just barely. You saw the spike hitbox potentially coming. This could be the stock here. Back throw, not going to do it quite yet.
Nope. Plainfield here really trying. Oh no, that could have been disastrous. It's getting very close here. Anyone's to take it right now, but the pressure is definitely on Plainfield here to not lose this stock, and it's going to be done.
They get one back in trade though, so Plainfield maintains the lead by 1. The damage done there to Pike, and I think between the two players, right, to open up with 4 stocks in a 4v4 crew battle, you keep that average, that's a good pace to be at. So solidly in the lead, and now the best part, you have that counter pick advantage. You not only have the 1 stock lead, but you know that your opponent is locked in on that 2 stocks of Kirby. So now you get to send in whoever you want, and they opt for the Ridley this time around.
Yeah, that's a complete opposite. You have the cutest thing in the universe versus the most malicious and filled with evil in comparison. It sounds like a Kirby story in of itself.
Certainly feels like a boss battle sometimes when you're going up against this character. We'll see how this one paces out. This one is interesting to me because, I mean, not just the size differential, but Ridley in particular, I feel like you've got a lot of specific hitboxes that you are kind of looking for, which makes this matchup a little tricky because of how small Kirby is. And as I mentioned before, Kirby has so many multi-hits, so many comboing moves that you're sending in a rather big body to try and deal with that character.
That is true, but the thing about Ridley here that we are seeing, despite the size difference, is the cleaving animation that goes into it. Lots of games have big characters that use small, precise hit points, but not Ridley. He utilizes his entire body, between the wingspan to the tail to even that maw, to be able to just tear through anyone that opposes him.
Gotta be able to snap back to the ledge there. Good job of getting that forward air to knock Phil off stage for the moment. Gonna get back and, well, the jabs will come through instead. Both players trending into the red here. See how careful they opt to play. Gets the neutral B off stage. Should both be able to make it back here, but no! Misjudged his jumps and he can't quite snap back to the ledge. Another stock answered back here, and the lead's starting to build here for Plainfield.
Yes, it is. Now, you do lose that 1 stock there in comparison, but I think the damage has already been done. Now the pressure's really on the Kirby here to be able to actually not just make even, but overcome what started as 3 stocks, now down to 2.
What can they do here? Up smash doesn't quite land. Hanging around the ledge. Neutraler actually beats out the side B. That's an early up B. That's going to get punished by a forward smash. Should be able to snap back to the ledge. Holding steady, finds a back air, another up B instead. Percents, again, relatively even here, but an ill-timed air dodge means he rolls right past the ledge and falls to his demise, and that is the lead that Plainfield had now forfeit, but only for a moment. They find the up smash, they take the stock, and once again, Plainfield stay in the lead.
That they do. Again, I think the Ridley, actually a very strong pick. It really came down to how the players executed here. Honestly, truly, I've seen Kirby's pull out a win from nowhere. Like, I'm rabbit out of a hat. It's just pure magic trick. So I was ready for anything to take place there.
I like the recognition, the specific instance of the neutral B off stage, right? It feels like a sort of cheesy option to go for in the moment, but you can catch a lot of players that way. But in that moment, you saw the instant jump recovery, right? You saw that, hey, I don't have to panic here. I don't have to air dodge. I just, once I, mash out of the inhale, I can still make my way back to stage and still not be in too much danger when all is said and done. So I like the awareness, the lack of panic, it felt like in that instance, because I've seen that situation go awry very quickly, and I think that helped too in sort of the dangerous percentages in the red. It felt like they were a little bit more confident in those dangerous spots.
Almost definitely. Now, this is some phenomenal tech I'm seeing from Joker here. I don't see too much Joker play, believe it or not, so this is new to me, and just that grapple ability, it seems to snake up the side of the stage there, where I would personally not expect people to recover from. But it seems he's doing just fine here from the side of Pike. However, Ridley is doing a phenomenal job on this edge guard here against the Joker. And I think there definitely could be another stock gone here against Pike if he plays his cards right.
got to be very careful here. Doesn't quite land the down smash, but you're right. This Joker, well, it is an interesting dynamic between the two. They have not found the hits they need to try and close this stock out. You've got a lot of big swinging hits, but the biggest thing is that meter, that bar.
Oh.
Can they build it up, get to IHSEN, and get the powerful moves? All the aerials will start to kill when that meter is full, but can they get there first? Can they hold on to this stock as well? The down smash won't kill from just about center stage there, and holding on here again is Plainfield. Ridley's also got a lot of quick options too. Things like that up tilt can be dangerous as both trend into the high red again.
That they are. They're just blocking each other by mere seconds within one another. This time they seem to have learned from those jabs, but is it going to be enough here? Oh, it's coming down to the wire. Whoever gets this hit gets the stock.
That's another huge stock, right? Answering back again gives them the lead for certain headed into that sort of next matchup. So we'll see what they can do here, and the answer is not much. That one stock will be all the extra credit they get. Down smash from center stage. Didn't kill the first time, but second time's the charm, and they'll answer back. Just, again, it's been close, but Plainfield still holds the one stock lead.
That they do, and I think, again, that's really all you need here. As long as you continue to hold that pretty much that sort of precedence there against your opponents, you start to implant a seed of doubt in their brain that, can we actually do this? Now that could make or break a lot of players depending on who it is. It all comes down to handling the pressure here, as we are already halfway through the first set here.
And in comes the Ganondorf as the counter pick here for Plainfield. And this one, I feel like, is a highly volatile matchup, right? You've got...
Yeah.
Joker's got a lot of combo ability, but also a lot of kill power. But the other side here, with Ganondorf hitting like a truck on so many different moves, that meter that Joker has building up to IHSEN can get built up so quickly. All this Ganondorf needs is one interaction, one grab, one neutral air to follow up, and all of a sudden you'll see that percent skyrocket. So you got to be very careful picking and choosing your moments to weave in and out of hitbox range.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, for the side of Plainfield here, I would say they're actually playing it very smart, despite everything. That's what I was expecting there from a Ganondorf. He's actually been very mobile than most Ganons, and the big thing about Ganon is that they have such a large animation time to get those big hits off that it made me concerned when I saw it selected, because they don't have great recoverability similar to Mac, and they have a big hit, but they take too much time to wind up for them.
You can kind of tell it's betraying them in these instances. They're going for a couple of these big swings, and it's just not quite landing. Phil, aka Pike, has done a fantastic job of bringing this back, and just like that, they've stolen the lead.
Yes, they have. And I mean, good on them. I wasn't very confident in the Ganondorf pick, and unfortunately it did show here. I think it really could have been just down to who they played here, because against Joker, that's a tough one. Lots of mobility, lots of quick action, versus someone that is large, heavy, and not great on recovering in comparison. So I feel like if it was the Kirby versus the Joker, we might have had a different situation. But now Luigi's coming into the battle.
The anchor position, the Luigi comes in, seeing if they can bring things back here, get to that final member of Pike's roster. Luigi is one of those handful of touch of death characters, right? You get one grab, that combo, the 0 to death is on the table. You get a ton of damage either way, and they're looking for it here. Look at the pressure, look at the onslaught. This game started seconds ago,
Whoa!
and that stock is already eviscerated. They didn't even get the full true combo, and they're already working on stock 2.
Oh, that wasn't even the combo? I'm gonna be honest. I saw Luigi last week. It wasn't like this. This is phenomenal here. I am all for this. I've never seen such an execution on one of the Mario Brothers like this.
Gotta be so careful now. The last thing you want is a Luigi player with momentum, feeling confident. They get the parry there as well with the punish on the forward tilt to rack up a little bit more percentage. The one tricky part is Luigi isn't the best when it comes to stray kills. You're kind of looking for something like a back air or a smash attack, but dash attack will kill eventually. But that's where things get a little bit trickier. Approaches, you gotta kind of mix things up. And they're doing a fantastic job of it here so far. No makes it back though, sneaking underneath with the get-up attack. What can they do here with a full meter of IHSEN? Side B will land.
Yeah, this is something else here. Now, Joker is doing what they can to recover. They will get a stock off, but they are still in the danger zone here. They are not out of the woods quite yet. And that's what's going to do them in.
Good up smash there to punish. You can tell at some point, right, the Luigi just is thinking about this character's in the red. They know they need a combo or something to bring things back, to bring back some of that momentum, but they couldn't find it. They're gonna get greedy at some point, and up smash at a shield is just such a good option. But you can tell that this last player, they've come in with some heat, right? They were warmed up, They were ready, they were on point with their defensive options, and although they drop a stock, it is still the fact that they got that opening stock the way they did, it sent a message, and now you got to be feeling like that last player of Pike is like, okay, how do we calm things down and give ourselves the best chance here on this final set of game number 1.
Yeah, I think in their situation, they have to go with a medium build character here. Not a heavy that is too large to take the combo that we just witnessed, but not too light that they can easily be thrown around. And I think Fox is going to fit that role just nicely.
This one is another one that I feel like is volatile, but I feel like it's because both characters are so fast-paced, right? Fox's advantage is that he's one of the faster characters in the game, and similar to Kirby in a way, he's got a lot of multi-hits, things that can be strung together very quickly. The downside is, I think Luigi just hits a little bit harder for those interactions, so for Pike, for Phil here, you gotta be very careful. You cannot afford to get grabbed. These combos work a little bit easier on the fast fall type characters. You can see that's why he's so aerial right now, constantly jumping. The last thing he wants is for that plunger to land.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that's the meme about Fox, right? Is that you can't hit him. He's everywhere and anywhere all at once, making him just the most, in other words, annoying character to deal with in Smash. But now they're quite even here, just par 50%, and almost had that set up there for the combo.
And you can tell, I think, again, he's looking for this early stock, the Luigi, with these kind of early smash attacks, things like the up smash, the dash attack, even pulling the trigger on the up B. You gotta be very cautious now. Good forward tilt to knock this Luigi off stage, but the up smash in return nearly takes the stock. Remember, Fox is on the lighter side of the cast, not one of the lightest, but you know, if you take the roster, split 50-50, definitely on that lighter half.
Oh yeah, most definitely there. And I mean, there's other characters that are very similar to Fox, right? There's Falcon, there's Wolf. So with similar kind of play styles and kits, I wouldn't expect much else.
Dangerous spot there, trying to pull the trigger on the up smash, and it actually ends up taking the stock there, but an up smash in response. Both characters killing off the top right there. Well done by both sides, but now it's 2 stocks to 1. This Luigi's got to find something here. Where can they find their opening? Can they find that grab? They find it here. Down air, follow through with the neutral air, another one, but they don't get the up air. He's fallen off stage with the air dodge there, but I think the panic air dodge actually saved him from the combo.
Yeah, most definitely there, because it was just, oh, the counter does him in there.
I am in shock. The gambit was placed. He goes for the side B. That's normally a recovery move, but it can traverse the stage so quickly. He's trying to just burst through and find something, but instead, shield up B. Full fire punch there, takes the stock, and now things are dead even.
Yes, they are. Now, Luigi's the one that's has a little more damage on their side here, but it could be anyone's game. These players are so well matched. that it's going to come down to whoever makes the first mistake.
Where will they find it? That is the question. Good parry there, forward tilt. At this point here, if you are Pike, if you are Phil, you are looking for that up smash kill opportunity. That's the Fox true bread and butter move. Can they find something like neutral air into up smash? There it was! We just didn't quite get the spacing on it.
Yeah, it was very close. I thought Luigi had it there off of that grab, but it didn't quite fully execute it as we were expecting.
Still looking. Oh, there's the up smash. Doesn't quite land it. Look at how even the percents are too. Both players are so cautious. They know that this next interaction could do the trick. That's the grab. He waits, and he waited for the air dodge perfectly. Downbeat Tornado will take the stock. And just like that, Plainfield takes game one.
What a recovery there. They're an anchor for a reason in that case. That was a phenomenal final round there. Whew.
I mean, you could tell how close it was. Both players are jumping around, dashing back and forth, but no moves got thrown out. No active hitboxes outside of maybe a laser or a fireball, the projectile. They're playing so cautious, just trying to chip away at those percents because they knew that one interaction could do the trick. And in that instance, just so smart to go for the down throw specifically. Once they got that grab, because Luigi has some kill throws, but it's mostly back throw. They grabbed him facing towards the outside of the stage, so they'd be throwing them back inside. So they have to go to a throw that sends them vertically, and then the read and reaction there, the poise and patience to see where's this air dodge going to come out from, and then to use the larger active hitbox of the Cyclone, the Tornado, to catch him, even if he drifts too far left or right, still able to catch him and knock him off the top to take game one.
Indeed. But first, you know what? While we have the time here, let's cut back to those replays and see how this all started and ended. I mean, we're taking a look here with Mac and Kirby. There was a big startup here between them.
It was interesting to start, right? That the way things panned out, I think it's just a blind pick off the start. So you get sort of a weird matchup of the heavy combo or the heavy hitter versus the light combo character. And it ends up being that, you know, the Kirby survives the tanky hits and is able to take that opening series. And I think that really helped Plainfield Plainfield set the pace for the rest of game number one here.
Oh yeah, it definitely did here, as it gave them a big opening into it. Now, from there, we headed into the mirror matchup, which actually was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was like surefire, you play it safe, you get your hits off, and bam, stock gone and done.
And then from there, you get the next set, right, with the Ridley coming in, some big, heavy hits as well. Was able to knock out the Kirby, started to go to work on the Joker a little bit as well. But in the end, I mean, I think this was the unfortunate part, right? You lose that stock and it evened things out a bit, but the clutch factor had to come online here, had to make sure that they maintained that lead, got that counter pick advantage, and they were able to do so with that up smash.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, here we are with the Joker, as you mentioned. They did get the stock off, and I think that was a crucial part there towards the end game. As you were fighting with only one stock, then you had Ganondorf here, which great performance here on behalf of Joker to just be a full counterplay against this Ganondorf.
Yeah, the Ganon did really not get to do all that much in this series, and it's interesting too because I feel like in the kind of grand scope of scholastic esports, when you see a Ganon in these types of settings, one of two things happens. They either dominate the matchup or they get themselves kind of pinned into the corner. And that's what happened here to our Ganon player. Was it felt like they came out with some confidence, but the Joker knew the matchup and was able to exploit it.
Yeah, the Joker definitely playing it very smart in the distance, but they did not expect this anchor here. And this is really what started to set the excitement for both sides here. They were just blood pumping, adrenaline kicking in as they were really showing us a bit of a masterclass there in performance.
Luigi put in the work here to not only get themselves into a position where they got to that final series, saw the final player, but also to win that from a stock down. That was the big key, not just to win that series, but to do so in such a stylish fashion from behind, from trailing position. So now we get to see some adaptations here for series number 2. Characters or players are allowed to swap characters. You'll see some stage transitions as well as we go to Hollow Bastion. And now we get to see Dr. Mario enter the fight.
Yes, we do. And not really what I was actually expecting to see coming on out here, as Dr. Mario is just a slight adaptation to the regular Mario. Except I believe he has a lot better use on his range. Otherwise, correct me if I'm wrong, he's just a reskin, no?
More or less. The main difference actually is that Dr. Mario's recovery is a little bit shorter, but he hits a little bit heavier than Mario. I think the fireball, actually the pill I think bounces a little bit higher than the fireball too, but they are very similar in how I think the other thing that's the main difference, Mario tends to want vertical kills either off the bottom or top of the screen. Dr. Mario, a lot of their setups are for the horizontal, left or right side of the screen. But still, you can see off the start here that, you know, the pacing of it, it's still very similar to what you would see from Mario. I cannot believe KO Punch caught. It felt like he jumped out of the way.
I love
you can't
that.
jump forever.
No, I love that. I felt like I was watching the original Punch-Out versus Mike Tyson right there when that hit. That was beautiful. No, believe it or not, I thought you were going to tell me that the difference here is one has a PhD and the other is a plumber.
Well, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, you know?
Yeah. That was a great play there. And despite the damage he has stacked up here, Little Mac is still surviving and doing actually a great job off of these edge guards here.
Interesting catch there with the tilt, but
Ooh.
ends up throwing him with the back throw. Does not take the stock, but you can't run away forever. That up smash, just as good. That will take it right back. So tied stock count, but at 117, this doctor's got to be very careful. He can't be swinging on shield. Forward tilt answers back.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta say, how do these athletes not get sick? Well, they gotta make sure they keep the doctor away, and we're kind of just watching them do that now. What a big uppercut there. Not quite that KO punch I was hoping for, but this is definitely setting up a tough spot here for the doctor.
This Little Mac said he's eaten at least 2 apples. Let's see if he's eaten a third. You might actually have it here. This is a dangerous spot. Good recovery. Well timed, but he can't stay there forever. Forward tilt. Bop, bop. Takes the stock, and it's another lead here for Pike and the Little Mac.
Yes, this time Little Mac coming out on top in this engagement here. The champ earning his title as the heavy hitter despite his small stature.
Interesting kind of pacing to that first game, right? The Dr. Mario didn't get as much combo ability as they wanted throughout that series, but I think that's because the Little Mac just played it smarter, right? They said, all right, I can hold shield a little bit longer. Dr. Mario doesn't have as many quick moves as you'd think. There are some nice options, but the situations that they put themselves in just ended up not being fortuitous. So Little Mac takes that opening series. They take that first game. Now they're up 2 stocks, and they get the rematch against the Kirby player from game 1.
That they do here. This is a revenge match right here. Seeing if they could take the fight back to them. I think biggest thing here now is actually that there's a platform involved on this stage. Now, on the last one, Final Destination, you only had the bare ground, right? So it was all about the edge. This time, Little Mac actually has a lot more to play with here. It's not just about the edge, but also about the up. So if you can actually utilize this extra platform here, not just to dodge, but also to send your opponent to the stratosphere, you could have a different game at hand.
It's also big because it's a reprieve for both players. Say KO Punch comes online, you still have to, I think, expend a jump in order to reach that platform, and vice versa. If on the flip side, Kirby is too short to actually reach that platform without using a jump, as he air dodges on the stage there, and that will get caught. Great read by Phil to find that stock, and Pike starting to build a substantial lead here, continuing to swing away at Kirby's shield, but they're able to answer back with some jabs. Can they find a combo starter of their own? No, they're forced off stage once again, and that will do it! Lands on the main platform, and that was ill-advised.
That it was. I knew there was something special about Little Mac here, and it is now flourishing here on this stage. I think he was able to take that first matchup against the Kirby and actually learned quite a lot from his mistakes. He's now really played it differently with the footwork, as you're seeing here, constantly staying on their toes, and now they got that KO punch ready to go. If they can knock it here, this could be it. Oh, just a hair of a miss.
The roll there at the last moment, I think, saves him from taking that KO punch to the face, and now all of a sudden, see both players in the red. He tried to get the stock, but it was red the other way. Phil Pike, the Little Mac, able to reverse the situation, and now this Little Mac is on a roll.
That he is. Now, we just got to be very sure here. Mind you, he's only lost one stock, and that was in the first matchup there of the second set. So the pressure's really been placed now upon Plainfield here to try to make a recovery.
It really has, and you saw that Plainfield with a
Plainfield, that's right, my bad.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it too. It's all good. But I think with the extra set in hand here, because it is a best of 3, you saw that kind of initial change. Like, all right, let's throw in the Dr. Mario. Let's see if that works. But now it's given Pike the momentum that they need, and they are rolling with it, right? The last thing you want to try and deal with is a player playing hot, a player with momentum. And on a Little Mac like this, with so many kind of larger hitboxes on Plainfield's roster, the Ridley, the Ganondorf, this could get out of hand very quickly if they don't find a way to shut it down.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, talking about being on a roll here, the one thing that you really got to be mindful of is if Little Mac gets into a Dempsey roll. That is just the infinite hitting. Now, that's not going to be the case here in Smash, of course, but for a real life move in boxing, it is probably the most brutal thing to deal with because it's a continuous motion of heavy hits.
Ooh. Tough catch there. Yeah, it is. It's interesting there. So the neutral B comes through to take that stock, and that's one of the disadvantages of Little Mac. It's something that Plainfield might be able to exploit if this kind of match drags out a little bit. But at this point, if you are the Little Mac, you're sitting here on one more stock. Everything that you get, right, is just icing on the cake. So you're looking for anything. I see a Ridley in the red. I'm swinging for the fences. Just try and take this stock off the board. Why not? You've got a little bit to play with here. 5 stock differential. Dash attack will not do the trick quite yet. Low recovery here, a little bit safer. What can they do from ledge? They roll instead, but the quicker options are just coming through. It's so precise right now from this Little Mac. They know exactly where to position themselves, but that might be greedy. They go for the forward smash. It's not gonna find the mark quite yet. Dash attack off stage, KO punch online. Where do they go from here?
Well, I think you just got, like you said, swing for the fences here. Just got to hit that one KO to at least start it with a stock off of them. Even if you were to go down here, he's playing it very close, and there it is!
Again, he tried to jump out of the way. You can't. Those toes will get caught. On the jump, the KO punch comes through. Too big of a hitbox betrays him, and all of a sudden, just like that, another massive lead, but this should be it here. He's got a low recovery. That up B doesn't quite have the height, and the Little Mac's been shut down. But right now, Pike is a shark, and they are smelling blood in the water.
Most definitely are. As for them, they actually had a huge lead established here thanks to that Little Mac. And I think if they really want to, they might change up their order of players to just throw in the maybe the Joker here against Ridley again, because it was very successful when we saw it.
I was thinking something similar. I think when you look at the cast of characters they had, Fox, Kirby, Lil Mac, Joker, the one character that I think kind of got a strong advantage and really kind of was able to flex their muscles was the Joker, because we saw them not only take down the Ridley, but they also were able to shut down the Ganondorf that we saw later on in that series. We've seen the Kirby already, the Fox, I think typically, I mean, maybe not for IEN, but when we've seen a lot of crew battles, it's a lot of the same player in that kind of anchor role, unless you are like, this character has such a good matchup against this other one that we have to send them in early. But I don't think that's typically the case. We get to see another change up here, though, for round number 2, and why not? You've got a little bit of an advantage, a 4-stock lead. So let's see what Pac-Man brings to the table.
Yeah, this is just another character that I wasn't really expecting to see. Of course, the roster is going to be all available, but there's certain characters that you will constantly always show up in crew battles or general play. And so far, I've been surprised by many picks today, between the Ridley, the Joker, Pac-Man now even. It's just not the typical kind of characters, and I think that's what's so nice about this here, is that players typically expect, oh, this is the meta pick, this is who's really good right now. So they don't anticipate having to fight against these other rosters that are set up with the unique kind of gimmicky styles.
They'll drop the opening stock there, but I do agree, right now, a lot of things have changed. You go into certain matchups thinking that you're gonna see, right, like you said, the more meta picks, some of these higher tiered characters. Pac-Man, when the game first came out, was actually highly coveted as one of these characters that just had a lot of options, but since a lot of the DLC release sort of kind of fell off. But when you see one in the kind of collegiate or high school esports stage, they are often very well practiced, and that's what I'm kind of looking for here, is how solid is the bread and butter? Can they find the opening combos? Can they play with the hydrant? Can they find forward smashes like that to answer back stock count?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, now being able to get that extra stock there off Ridley, despite suffering one themselves, it's really just a matter of time if they play their cards right here. I mean, between the two characters, they both have a large recovery capabilities here.
Pac-Man can spend an egregious amount of time in the air if they so choose, between things like the side B, the jumps that have a large kind of vertical range to them. That trampoline and is their main source of recovery, and we'll see where they kind of opt to go with it, as these low recoveries are safe. That's a wild grab. You saw the hitbox being thrown out there, and they were still able to reach him. Side B will come through to help knock the Ridley away for a moment. He's trying to close this stock out, but that dash attack comes through instead to make sure the hydrant goes the other way. Got caught dashing the wrong direction and nearly paid the price for it. Side B's into the stage. We should still be able to make it back to the ledge. Forward tilts off stage once again, and the situation resets.
That it does here. Oh, that block could have done it right there! But they're still alive. Barely alive here. It's how this next engagement goes around. But it's not going to go anywhere. I'm not sure if it was a misinput, but they just fall to the deaths.
Tried to dodge the hydrant, but they air dodged down, which means they don't have the animations, or at least a fast enough animation to get back to their jumps and use that vertical recovery. Either way, they're able to knock down the Ridley, which means that Plainfield is down to their last member. So My guess is we're likely gonna see that Luigi just to see if they can kind of get some momentum back here at the end of game number 2. But if anyone can make a deep run like this in this type of style and this type of format, it is a character like Luigi. They get the combos, they get the grab, they get that up special, right? That fire punch towards the end. They can find some early stocks here. It is going to be a little bit more difficult against a character like Pac-Man, though, who can sort of play to a slower pace. They've got a couple projectiles. They've got a couple kind of hits that can linger. You got to be very careful about picking and choosing your time to weave in, weave out, but the combo started there, and now it is just aggression. CQC is both are just throwing punches.
Yeah, loving this close quarters combat here, as you were mentioning. But another thing I do want to mention, the neat thing about the Pac-Man, as you pointed out, that hydrant, right? That could actually work as a block to a couple of these abilities or attacks if they are timed right. Because in most fighting games, you have nothing to work with but the stage and your own wits. But in other games, natural cover is a big part of the gameplay. So being able to have something akin to it here in a fighting game is actually very much a wild card.
And something that this Luigi will have to try and deal with. One of the things that is tough to recognize as they are able to land the stun bell there is that hydrant will kind of get knocked away at a higher percent. So it's about how much damage you do to it, and then whatever the angle is that the move typically sends at. So it's really difficult to judge or know offhand how much damage has been done to that hydrant before it gets hit. But there's a stock answer back. They find the up smash, and you can see that this Luigi, they're playing carefully around it, right? They haven't had the chance to kind of deal with that hydrant. They want this stock here. They almost found it. If that up air lands, they can continue the combo. Either way, they get a clean 39% off of that interaction.
Yeah. What I think I'm seeing here a bit is that this Luigi is greedy for the grab, but it is to set him up for the combo, which he needs to get this damage percentile set up. Because it seems like it's almost going to be impossible to get this Pac-Man down based off of only the edge grabs. It seems like, yeah, you got to go for an off-screen from the top of the stage.
The other trick here, too, is if you don't get that zero to death type combo off of the grab, now your grab combos in this sort of mid-range don't really work anymore. You can really only do maybe throw into an aerial. It becomes, instead of a, 4 or 5 type hit combo, it becomes a 1 and 2, and then you're done. So this is the tricky part here that he'll have to navigate, is he nearly dies to that lingering projectile there. Some fancy tech work done by the Pac-Man to try and take that stock, but still not quite done yet. 163 means the next strong hit will likely do it, but this Luigi has been very strong in these moments. Can he find a way to take this stock? Remember, he hasn't dropped one thus far, and you can tell how careful he is because of how this match is paced out.
Yeah, but it's really towing the line here. He's really pressed his luck. That hasn't punished him yet, but I think this is going to be it.
Yep, quick grab into the throw there. Especially back throw for Pac-Man, the one with a little bit more knockback to it. Ends up taking stock number 1 off of this Luigi, so Plainfield down to just 2 stocks now. It's all about taking this final one off the Pac-Man. How does he go for it here? Same setup that he used to clean up series number 1. He'll take down the Pac-Man with the Tornado, with the Cyclone here in series 2.
Yep. Now he is down to 2 stocks here. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is what he started with either against Fox or against Joker here, correct?
Yeah, against the Fox, I think the Joker one was 1-1. It was, he ended up dropping a stock, but taking a stock to kind of clean the Joker out. But he did end up winning that series against the Fox, down a full stock there, 3-2. Now he gets the rematch against the Joker. I feel I've got mixed feelings about this one. This one could be tight.
Yeah, most definitely here. It also gives note to me here how excuse me, how Pike's team is kind of specialized for themselves, because the original players that we saw in their lineup now have shown that they have a bit of variety in their roster selection. So we're not going to be seeing the same characters potentially each time if we do go to a third set.
It'll be interesting to see what the kind of lineup looks like going into that third set if we get there, but this Luigi trying to prevent that here. Can they find another 6 stocks? Can they find the first 3 here? When you're trying to play in this style of crew battles, oh, look at the wave dash to follow up there, dashing down into the platform or air dodging down into the platform to try and follow up with the defensive maneuvering there of Joker. But as I was kind of saying, it's okay to drop 1 because you're still at some point, you're on the same ratio, right, of trying to take 3 stocks to 1. So dropping this one early, it would sting, but it's not the end of the world. They're actually able to take the first one before potentially dropping their second. So they find a way to get on the board here against the Joker. Now can they find a second?
Oh my gosh! That was a combo and a half there. Oh, is he going to do it again? Is he going to set up? No.
Well, of all the times for it to come through, that was the key moment. And there, that second one, he nearly gets the follow-up, but the air dodge away was just too hard to read. So well reacted to by Phil, the Joker here in this second series to get out of that combo. And now this is, again, kind of the hard part of the matchup. When you're in these mid-range percents, the combos that Luigi wants are towards the end or towards the red and at 0. So now how do you find the interactions? How do you find a way back into this series? How do you find a way back into the kind of damage range you need to potentially take these stocks? He doesn't get the forward tilt punish there, but IHSEN is gone, which means a lot of the kill threat from Joker is gone as well.
Yeah, most definitely that big range damage dealing that we were seeing while it was active was what kept this Luigi at bay. Now he's back in his face here, ready for the setup. Oh, here we go. Could be here, but missed it up, unfortunately there. I think that might have been an accidental up there that they went for.
They got greedy. They just got greedy with it. You get the specific hitbox of that up B, and they likely take the stock there, but he gets the outside hitbox, so he only gets a coin. It's 1% of damage instead of all of that knockback and the fire effect that we normally see. So a rare miss there from this Luigi player on kind of a unique setup. And that's going to be the follow through of the down air. That is it. Oh. What a follow through. What an edge guard. Like saying, no momentum here. Game 2 is ours, and we get the full extension. Series number 3 on the way.
Yeah, that is quite the way to end it. There was definitely a potential there that we saw. Luigi could have gone to the 4th and final player of this crew, but this is one of the few rare moments we are going to a 3rd set here. And I mean, I'm completely excited for it. How about yourself, Soy?
I'm feeling really good about this series, this set. I mean, this has been so much fun to watch. We get to see kind of a wider variety of characters, only one real ditto between the two teams. But I think what's interesting has been the adaptations, right? You get to see the minutia and the gameplay between these two, right? Things open up with the Little Mac versus Kirby. Now, all of a sudden, that becomes a counter pick. The Joker comes out as a sort of answer to this Luigi instead of the Fox that lost the series earlier. So now we get to see how things sort of change up. Where do these players and teams go from here? And it's going to be so interesting to see what the decisions look like from these teams moving forward.
Indeed. Let's take a review of this second set here. Starting it on off was that Little Mac and Dr. Mario, and again, Little Mac really putting in that work there where they fell just a bit short from the first set. I love seeing the comeback that the player was able to put forward here that showed how they learned their lesson and were able to apply it into their next engagement.
that has been the difference really between game number 1 and game number 2, right? Is that the Little Mac got shut down in that opening series, but here they got activated. They were finding stocks, they were finding counters, they were landing those big, massive swinging smash attacks to take stocks off the board off of a couple characters with either a shorter recovery or a lighter hitbox. And they went on a roll, and that early lead helped carry them to the finish line, as they didn't have to take many stocks or do much work in the second half of this matchup. But that is, I think, is the focus then moving forward, right? If the Little Mac is the big threat, what is Plainfield's answer to it in the third series?
Yeah, it's a good question there that you have. I mean, we saw the opening come in here with Pac-Man as well, as to try to adapt after the Little Mac went into play. One thing I do want to mention there from what we did see is that I don't think the Dr. Mario was a good set for a character to put in that early, because when you take a look at who's the opener for games, it really comes down to why are they in that position, right? Why are they the starting player?
Yeah, I think I agree, and I think I see the thought process, because if that opening pick is just blind outright, right? You don't know who's going in for the first 1v1 of each series, of each set. Dr. Mario is, I think, a well-rounded enough character to sort of be able to deal with the different styles of play. If a character is, more specifically one thing than another, Dr. Mario, I think, is one of the more well-rounded ones. The difference was the thing that Little Mac could specialize in, they could beat them. And so all of a sudden, that Dr. Mario pick that is sort of like a neutral starter gets shut down right out of the open.
Yeah, and we're now going to have to see if there's going to be a change-up to that style, or if we're going to see a bit of a mix back to the first set, where maybe they started up with the slight counter, and we do. That's going to be that Kirby right there. So I think this was Little Mac's slight kryptonite here, and this is going to be a wall that he has to figure out how to surmount as we're back on the final destination.
And it's been pretty even between these two in particular, right? While the Kirby for Plainfield got the better of Little Mac in round number 1, then in game 2, right, the Little Mac was able to bring it back. So this is really kind of a tiebreaker between these two players, and we'll see where things go from here. But I do think there's the old adage, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think both teams are kind of looking at that as the game plan with these two starters off the bat.
Yeah, most definitely here. And now you're going to be seeing that with this Kirby here, he started with a lot of damage on, and that is immediate stock down compared to the Little Mac here, who actually hasn't taken much damage quite yet compared to the first set. This could prove to be a dangerous snowball developing here, and they need to figure out a way to put a halt to it.
Yeah, only 38% is not a lot. Plus KO Punch already online after that trade. So now you got to be very careful here. Snaps to the ledge, but he's going to run out of invincibility. Regrabs, gotta be up close. Kirby does not really have many ranged moves to throw out, but he is able to evade the KO punch. That was a big missed opportunity there for Pike to try and really extend this lead.
Yeah, I mean, a great idea overall. You saw how careful Kirby was forced to play it. They know because of how light they are more susceptible to damage being received. So it was just off by a little. I think Kirby got lucky rather than just a bit of that dodge. There goes a lot into play, right? Luck is always going to be a part of skill, and it definitely shows here, as you will get that second stock.
Big up smash there to answer back, but there's the forward tilt once again coming through. So still a stock advantage here for Pike. Can they close things out and make it a 2-stock lead here? Or Plainfield, you're looking for a way to at least get this back down to even. Make it just 1 stock apiece. You're already up to 61%, so this Little Mac, they could look for a heavy swing here. They could look for a smash attack. They're looking for one here along the ledge. They won't find it. That up B continues to clank with them. doesn't quite get that that armor that some of the smash attacks have. Unlike that interaction, the multi-hit doesn't pierce through, and it's a 2-stock lead for Pike headed into the next round.
That it is, and Little Mac actually looking a little healthier than his prior encounters. He doesn't seem as black and blue, but that chiseled chin is going to have to keep the front a pushing here, as we're going to be having our next contender coming in momentarily. Do you think there's going to be a change-up in the hero selection, I'll say?
I think so. I think here, I mean, we've typically seen for the side of Plainfield, I was wrong. The Ridley comes in to try and answer here. We did see a little bit of this, at least in game number 2. And again, I think this is very double-edged sword. You're sending in a big body onto a character that's known for these big hits, and Ridley, despite being big, not that heavy of a character, so you run the risk, but maybe you can get this Little Mac to the outside of the stage.
Indeed. I think that's the one thing that a lot of people don't really think about Ridley, though, is that despite his build, he's actually much faster than many expect, and he's not quite a heavy by the traditional sense, right? He's not exactly slow and heavy hitting. He actually has a lot of agility and recoverability on and off the stage, which makes him so dangerous that you think that you're the threat. No, he just completely turned that around with that 180 engagement.
That counter was vital to fill there for Pike. They're able to get back to stage. It ends up costing them a stock eventually. The back air will come through, but you could tell how tense it was. They wanted that stock badly, and that's the game that they have to play when they are forced off stage. That neutral B where Ridley does so much work. Now he's trapped underneath. That's going to be the stock. That's going to be it. And the Little Mac gets shut down in the blink of an eye.
Oh, that has got to be the dirtiest thing I have ever seen. What a play there. Not only did they get a successful grab off, it was the manipulation of their opponent and utilization of the stage to be able to secure that quick and easy stock.
That was huge. And not just because he gets that stock, but he gets it so early. I don't think he dropped the stock that series, and he was sitting in the red, so you could tell that the Little Mac wanted something. He wanted to try and take that stock to answer back, but instead the command grab, that side B comes through, and because of the angle, right, he's not landing on stage, he gets pulled off stage. And Little Mac off stage, that is a nightmare situation when you are underneath the stage like that. That up B has to come out instantly if you don't recognize that situation, and there just gets caught flat-footed in it.
Oh, yes. Now we do have Pac-Man coming back in. I'm going to be honest, I'm not too much of a fan of the Pac-Man here. Definitely has done its work, but I think, again, against Ridley has just these big attack kind of animations here that against other characters in comparison, I'd have to say it's the largest sort of area of effect when they go in for their big hits.
Yeah, I think the play here for Pike is that they're saying, okay, the Little Mac is out, but if we're trying to hold back the Fox or the Joker as the type of anchors, that means our Pac-Man or our Kirby has to go in, and our Kirby got shut down in series number 1. The Pac-Man, I think, looked a little bit cleaner in the second side of things. So I think that's the way that thought process was leaning for them, is that was clean. Up B down to the ledge, jump back air to send this Pac-Man off stage. Also, Pac-Man into Ridley, again, with the number of projectiles Pac-Man has, you can poke away and play a slower game and try and catch this Ridley trying to be overly aggressive. You can just sort of, hourglass style the game plan and take stocks eventually. And there's really not an easy or convenient answer for Ridley outside of just gunning it with something like an up B through a platform or through a projectile of some sort. So you can see sort of the the options being thrown around, but right now, as both players are in the red, this stock means everything to both of them.
Oh, yes, it does, and that will be the first, but I think it's going to be a quick succession. Yes, it is, as they are evened on the playing field yet again.
I said stock, I meant game, but yeah, that opening one. The last thing you, like, on one hand, you don't want to drop the opening stock, but if you gain it right back, you're like, okay, it's a reset, mentally and physically. So now we'll see what both players can do here. 62% on the Pac-Man, so they are at a little bit of a disadvantage, but they could make it back quickly here with the combo. Both hits of that projectile land. The hydrant as well, but it's off stage. If that down smash came out, that would have been a huge chunk of damage, but instead, clipped by an aerial, and now the Pac-Man's back in the lead.
Yes, the Pac is back, and he is striking hard. But not again. He almost got away with it again. I like the idea. It worked before. Oh no, he's trying for it. He is really trying to force this grab off stage to send him down beneath to a point where he cannot recover. And I think the biggest difference here is their position. Pac-Man can just slide up on the corner of the stage here. Ridley needs to get him directly below in order to make that grab effective.
Phil's got to be thinking some higher powers right now that Pac-Man's recovery is so good vertically, because he hit the stage and he got sent downwards fast. So that vertical recovery had to come in, and there's not a lot of characters with that high of a recovery, so he's able to survive that situation. But on most other characters, it's likely the stock. That's another situation there. The up B through the hydrant to poke through. That's what it's going to take in this style of matchup if Phil opts to play to this sort of more pensive pace. And here at 174, this Ridley is continuing to play carefully, picking and choosing their options, making sure if they get hit, it's only by something like the forward air, but there, the lingering hitbox of forward smash just barely catches them, and we are back to a tied stock game.
That we are. I mean, I love the ghost usage here. My word, already at 91% here. Pac-Man's looking a little rough. This could take just one hit to send him off. He's playing it very smart here. He's playing the slow game right now. I like the idea. Buys you a bit of time, gives you a moment to breathe and execute a plan if you do it properly here. Has to wait for it. No!
What a call out! Okay, so like you said, the Pac-Man was playing so carefully, so pensive, they wanted to poke away, but this Ridley had the download. They were able to weave in and out of a couple hitboxes thrown out here or there, and in that situation, they were just throwing forward tilts out at the ledge saying, hey, I think you're going to grab it now. Maybe now. How about now? And eventually they said, listen, I can stand here and cover a ton of options. Down smash covers the platform. Forward tilt covers the ledge. And in that last instance, he recognizes, hey, if those two things are covered by just where I'm standing, jump is next on his board of options. So he runs up and gets that up smash, catches the stock, and now Plainfield have a lead. But here comes the Joker.
Joker? That's not Joker. That's just a student. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I haven't met that guy a day in my life.
It is a Wednesday, it is a school night, he's just coming back from after club activities.
Yep. But here we go. The match is underway here. 1 stock to 3 here. And Ridley really hasn't found much of an answer to Joker quite yet. We've seen them get a stock before, so it's not like it's impossible here. But it's definitely a big wall that he has to try to figure out how to surmount, or to be able to deal a bit of hurt here to their opponents in order to set up their next teammate for a better time in the ring.
You mentioned how Ridley's sort of like a pseudo heavy in terms of they're a little bit faster than most, but the Joker's speed is the difference, and you can see it there. They were all over that Ridley stock, and they were not in fear of the up B either. The forward smash will tie things up at 6 stocks apiece.
Yeah, we have a game on our hands here once again. But this was the exact situation of the first set, I believe. Maybe the only difference being one stock in between the two, but we are very much at an even playing field. And I would dare say, I'm curious if we're going to be seeing a light go into this or a heavy against the Joker. I don't think heavy's did too well against them, especially ones that had low recovery. But the damage dealing quickly or for quick combo grabs definitely has its place here. And it really depends on what the call is going to be made here from the side of Pike. What do you think is going through the head of Coach Carey?
I mean, they're looking at the character matchup, right? The Joker is locked in, and on the flip side, right, you get that counter pick advantage here. I think the dilemma is that when you look at Plainfield and their roster, that Luigi has been the anchor solidly. But the two players left, or the two characters that we've seen that have been shut down, are the other two options, right? The Ganondorf and the Dr. Mario. So that now we get to see a different iteration. A Palutena enters the ring. One of the more well-rounded characters can keep up with Joker's pace of play. We'll see if it's enough to give Plainfield the full lead here in this third and deciding matches. Again, both teams have a player waiting in the wings, so it's all about giving your team that advantage.
Yes, most definitely here. Now, we are seeing Palutena's not doing too hot themselves right now against the Joker, but the one thing that's very nice about her is that she actually has a lot of recoverability, but it seems, you mentioned it in the prior, it's the speed that's really hurting them right now. They are just so agile on the side of, I believe it's Pike here, yes, Pike, that it's proving to be difficult for the side of Plainfield to deal with.
And it's tough, too, for Plainfield. The constant character changes. If you're just stepping into the ring with a different character, right, it can be a little bit off-putting. You're still adjusting to that pace of play. This Joker's been on it all day, and they are rolling right now. A solid advantage. They've already lapped in terms of percentage. Can they find an opening here? Instead, they get grabbed. IHSEN on the board, too. Palutena's light. This could be the stock. Should still be able to snap to the ledge. IHSEN almost gone. Now he'll disappear as soon as that bar leaves, but ticking on that extra damage with the side B. Now what can he do? From center stage, continues to chip away at this stock. Joker doesn't have as much kill power, but still can find something with a smash attack, but instead, the up air will catch and tie the stock count back up.
Yeah, it was a great combo to send it up and away, but now you're set up for ground zero yet again. It took you quite a bit to get the Joker in their position to be able to combo it. I think you're going to have a very difficult time here. I think you need to do some adaptations immediately in your playstyle, and we're starting to see it. A bit of combos coming on out, a little bit of these side steps, just missing the hits from the side of Pike. Now it's going to be coming down to it as the bar is filled.
There's IHSEN. Now things can get dangerous quickly. 170s, one strong hit. Really, any straight hit should do it, but forward tilt comes out just in the nick of time. Doesn't pull the trigger on the jump there. I think he wanted to try an edge guard with forward air, but just kind of got too, deer in headlights about it, right? Just jumped forward. Either way, drops the stock. And I think they're resetting there. All right, they're back into it now. Either way, I love the respect, right? When you see that player kind of just sit, right? You just give them the moment to sort of reset. If something happened, right? Just let things, pan out for the moment, and then they'll be ready with that taunt. So, love the good sportsmanship being displayed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's actually a big part that I do want to mention here is how the players do respect each other. Yes, both sides want to win. They're giving it their all. They want to be able to go away knowing that they put their all into it. But at the end of the day, I think they're better for it, being able to show that they will take the time to allow each other to have the even playing field. going into these series, and that makes you more of a person for it.
It's great to see, and because you can see a lot of the players too, they'll get caught up in the moment, and here being caught up in the forward smash is Plainfield, as Pike's Joker has taken the lead with that forward smash stock. All of a sudden, the 9-2 Pike High School, they are back in front by 1 stock, but it is still a tight game.
That it is, and I think we all know who's going to be showing up here next. You hide from it, you run from it, but it is no use, for he is inevitable.
The Luigi will likely see the stage here, and I agree. I mean, this is the move, right? He's been the anchor for the previous 2 sets. He's gotten the better of Joker back in kind of the opening match. It was very close, though, in that second set. You saw the big difference was Luigi's recovery is a little bit more linear, right? It's either completely vertical or completely horizontal. So it's a big difference here for Phil the Pike, or for Joker. If they're able to get this Luigi off stage, there is a massive advantage, but catching this Luigi is so difficult when they are the ones who are often playing Hunter. They are the ones trying to force the interactions. They are the ones trying to find the grabs.
That they are. And here we are just playing this midfield again. There we go. The setup, the grab. Going in for the spins. Here we go!
It works every time, it feels like. It's just automatic. He gets the grab, he gets the down air, he gets the neutral airs, he gets the up air follow-ups, everything he needs in that combo, and the follow-through into the up B is just magnifique.
Yes. Beautiful as always here. So now we are down to Pike's anchor here. Do you think we're going to be seeing the Fox again?
I think so. I mean, when you look at the cast of characters, I'm not sure that I necessarily would lean towards the Kirby that we saw at the start of the day, just because of the way that this Luigi is playing. And I think Fox still has the right answers for this matchup. You have things, I mean, we didn't even see Reflector, right? For all the poke that these two did in that opening series of Fireball Laser, more of it here in this third and final series. And I think the way that Fox can kill with things like the up smash, if they're able to find the interactions, then that's more power to them. But I think I mean, I don't know if this is a button test or a Wi-Fi test.
So no. I think this is what we were seeing before with that Palutena. I'm saying
Palutena,
Palutena, yes. Is that even when the sets first started, each time the Little Mac themselves had a moment before they got into it, and then with Palutena, I think after they fall off that stage, we're kind of experiencing it right now. This might be just a stage reset here due to technical difficulties.
The other catch too, this happens, honestly, I've seen it happen a lot in these types of online crew battle sets, is a player will come in and feel ready, they're prepared, and then they realize, oh, I'm using my teammate's tag. He's got a different controller set than me, right? He's got different button inputs. And so it could just be something like that where they need to like back out, refill, or just test something here or there. There's a couple minutia things that need to be fixed in between in between these series, but we're back into it now. This is go time. This is game number 3. This is to decide who walks away with a win here in week 12.
That it is. And right away, you're seeing the big hits coming out here against Luigi here. But that's starting to turn back as he's finding his space there, getting for movement. It's like you said, Fox has a lot of mobility, and I think a quicker response time, even when being hit, that can recover better against quick set characters.
You can see them using it to their advantage here. They'll continue to poke away with lasers. Shield just coming out at the nick of time there. That was awfully close. There's both characters, too, looking for a way to kill, and that's going to be the up smash right there. Odd catch as I think the Luigi wanted to maybe push the advantage or dash away, but just spent too long in the face of danger and ate an up smash for it.
Yep. And I mean, that happens from time to time. You're confident in your play, but you make that slight misjudgment of who you're playing against. And as mentioned, we haven't seen a reflector yet, but if it were to be utilized here, I think Luigi is going to be surprised by it.
The other catch there is, oh boy, tries to land with an aerial, and that's a good punish. If that aerial does not land and only hits shield, you know what button that Luigi is pressing. He wants these stocks gone, and that up B is the button to do the trick. He gets a grab here at 0, but doesn't get the starter follow-up off the back of it. So now, I'll have to look for something else. 24 he can still get a good string off of, but I'm not sure that 0 to death that we've seen a couple times is fully accessible at this percentage.
Possibly not here. I think what they're really just trying to do is keep close to Fox, but not get too close to the edge, as they understand that they don't have as much freedom to play around it compared to Fox.
Oh, that get-up attack was everything. You saw a little bit of that charge up, and he rolls in this time, though, as that's another huge up smash for this Fox to find. Playing a little bit more patient, and it's paying off. They're reading and reacting right now.
That they are. Now there is the setup, but doesn't quite find the follow-through that Luigi was really hoping for there. And this is where things could get really dicey here, as now they're playing to counter one another here after they go for those up moves.
Continuing to chip away at the percentage with the lasers, and why not? You've got the stock advantage, and I feel like right now this Luigi, they're getting a little antsy. They know that they can end this stock if they find a strong hit, if they get the combo follow through, but they went for it too early there with the Cyclone. The percentage wasn't high enough to take that stock, and now again you're searching for a way to try and answer back. You're searching for another opening, and this Fox is not giving it to you cleanly. Look how much damage that the laser has done alone. They really haven't hit him with a move until that down air there, and now this Luigi already up to 78%. They've got to find a way to even things out here. Can they find something in this ledge trap? No. Opposite dash away, staying at center stage. The back air lands. They should still be able to recover.
Ooh, very, very close, and that could be it. No, still not, but going to double up to secure it.
The follow through with the up air seals the deal, and Pike survives here in week 12. It was dangerous, it was close, it went the full distance, but Pike gets to double digits in the win column.
Amazing. That is what I have to say after witnessing that series there. It was really a nail-biter there towards the end of it. I mean, I have to take notes of all that was witnessed today.
There was a lot to kind of cover it throughout that series. There were a couple character iterations, a couple different matchups, but I think the change of pace, you can see Pike has this strong record because all their players, they find ways to adapt. Sometimes it takes a full series, a full set, a full game to get through. But once they found that adaptation, they flipped the switch, they changed the pace of the game, and they come out on top because of it.
Indeed, they did. But we will be coming to a close here. However, before we do that, we got a few things that we have to mention here. First and foremost, LANFest. This broadcast is part of LANFest's Scholastic Esports program, a program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, LANFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to leagues, schools, and teams that we cover, and your generous donations make this possible. Every $200 raised covers the operating costs for one regular season broadcast. If you appreciate our work, be sure to scan the QR code on screen today and donate. And a thank you to League OS Portal. Do you want to play esports in college? Well, now you can search hundreds of collegiate esport programs at portal.leagueos.gg. Scholarships exist for players, shoutcasters, and more, so list all of your talents. Verified college coaches are searching the League OS portal now to find you. For IHSEN students, be sure that you sign in to manage your prospect profile, where your stats automatically update. And League OS portal is free, so don't miss your chance to get discovered. Visit portal.leagueos.gg and level up your future today. Well, that is going to be it from us here tonight. Do you have any parting words for us, Soy Sauce?
Just congratulations again to both our competitors. What a fun series we had on stream. Thank you again to all of our sponsors and for Landfest for having us on the broadcast. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to see where things go from here.
Great to hear. With that, we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.